Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
Now please answer this honestly. If I told you that in today's Cut the Clutter, I was going to talk about Jammu and Kashmir State Land Vesting of Ownership to the Occupants Act of 2001, how seriously would you take me? Chances are you would respond with your remote controls or with whatever button you push to move on to something else, particularly IPL. It's a double-header day. But if I told you that, look, I'm talking about something called Roshni Act in Kashmir, then it might have got you a little curious. Roshni Act? What is Roshni Act? Now, Roshni, as you know, you can say it is about lighting up a place, but Roshni or light in colloquial language or in Hindi or in Urdu or in north of India, and I am sure there are equivalents in other parts of India, light is used or Roshni is used for electricity. So, light aa gayi, batti aa gayi, right? Very rarely would people say electricity aa gayi ya power aa gayi. So, this is Roshni referring to that Roshni as in Bijli or in electricity. So, why should we be talking about, why should we be exercised, or what should be the clutter in a law to do with electricity in Jammu and Kashmir? Because this law, while the pretense is that it had something to do with electricity, actually had everything to do with real estate. Now, what's happened is central government has now issued orders basically on how this law will be dismantled. The law has been dismantled first by the Governor of Kashmir in 2018 and then by a J&K High Court order just last month, just in the month that passed us on 9th of October. But once again, this would have gone just like that without any attention. But now central government has issued certain orders on how to implement these orders and how to now carry out the dismantling of this law. Now, you have to understand, or I have to help you understand, what is this law? So, Jammu and Kashmir is not a thickly populated region now to union territories, but a state when the law was enacted. Because it's not thickly populated, it's also a state where law and order, there are many qualifications to how that's been maintained. In the sense that all over India, there can be might is right, jiski lathi uski bhains. But in Kashmir, it was a little bit worse, in spite of the fact that Kashmir was the first region in India to have implemented a land reform law. That was 1950, Sheikh Abdullah did that. In fact, that's what made Sheikh Abdullah very popular. So, because nobody was asking anybody and governance was lax, a lot of people grabbed a lot of land. So, this was a grab as grab can situation. So, my friends in Srinagar, also our correspondent there, Azan Javed, whose story you must see, I am sharing it with you. They tell me a lot of people just grabbed any agricultural land or forest land anywhere and built huge bungalows. But this was worse in Jammu region, which had a lot of the barren land or what is called as Kandi land, which is sub-montane, where very little except maybe reeds and shrubs grow. So they collected a lot of this land. In the course of time, cities expanded, a lot of this land was developed, it became worth a lot, and you know, people who are influential, they don't go and grab faltu land. They know which land has potential, so they go and grab that land. So in the course of time, there was a lot of resentment about it, there was talk about this. So in 2001, Farooq Abdullah was the chief minister then. Jammu and Kashmir Assembly passed a law, and this law is the one that I refer to. That was J&K State Land Vesting of Ownership to the Occupants Act of 2001. What this act said was that anybody who is already sitting on this land in an unauthorized way or illegal way, or somebody might have bought it from herdsmen at no price, because there was no economics, there was no market for this land. So some poor man who was grazing his cattle, you paid him a few thousand rupees and took that land. So anybody who had grabbed this land in the past can now come to the government make an application in a regular format and pay a certain fee which the government will determine. And once that fee was paid, this land or property will be regularized in the hands of the owner, no matter how illegally or unauthorizedly or at what throwaway price he might have taken it. So this was seen like a regularization. Now, how to sell it to people? Because people will say these are the elites just helping themselves regularize. This is the Sainik Farm syndrome. In Delhi, there is this colony called Sainik Farm where people went and built huge unauthorized mansions. Today, nobody knows what to do with them. You can't dismantle them, or the governments think dismantling them is too complicated. At the same time, if you charge a fee and regularize those, as you've done with so many other unauthorized colonies, then there will be a public outcry that you have favored the elites. So you had a similar situation in Kashmir as well. So to get around that, that government thought of a stratagem. They said the value of the land we will regularize like this is 25,000 crores. So we will raise in the fees from people who will come for regularization 25,000 crores. In 2001, 25,000 crores was a lot of money. And this money, the state government said, we will collect, and with this money, we will upgrade and enhance our electricity generation and distribution potential. So the chronic power shortage in Jammu and Kashmir will go. That's why this law jo hai, ye कानून, this law will bring roshni or light in our lives. So this will bring electricity in our lives. So this was sold to the people of Jammu and Kashmir as an regularization of unauthorized land and exchange for electricity in their homes scheme. So clever ploy, but it had one problem. And the problem was that there was a cut-off date there. The cut-off date was that this applied to only those who had grabbed this land by 1990, which was already 11 years before 2001. So now a lot of people came back and said, मैंने तो 1992 में लिया था, मैं तो 93 में लिया था, this is very unfair, 1990 वाले को दे दिया, मुझे नहीं दिया. And these are all influential people. So this went on, and in J&K, one thing we know is that all elites are together. So whether it's the Abdullahs, the Muftis, the Congress, the BJP, all elites have been together in Kashmir. So Farooq Abdullah government passed this law. This was also cleared by the President of India. It was Vajpayee government at that point of time. But because this limited it to 1990, so what happened? Then the Mufti Congress, PDP Congress government came. That PDP Congress government in 2003, you remember, was a half and half government, which means 3 years Mufti, PDP will have the chief ministership, and the next 3 years Congress was to have the chief ministership. So first chief ministership of PDP, when Mufti Saab was chief minister, an amendment was carried out in the law. And what was that amendment? It was actually a two-part amendment. So the first amendment was that they said cut-off date will no longer be 1990 because that's inconvenient. Too many people are getting left out. So cut-off date was, with this amendment, shifted to 2004, which means abhi tak we've all got covered. So what happened? Because of the law that passed in 2001, and obviously everybody understood that they will keep on changing this, people began grabbing more and more land and more property, or buying it from the poor who might have had it, on the presumption that this will soon get regularized. And when it's regularized, I am the power that be. I will also figure out at what price it's regularized. So this is what, I mean, I'm using that metaphor in a purely secular sense because I don't know anything from another language or another tradition. So it's a bit like Ram Naam ki loot hai, loot sake to loot. Or Behti Ganga mein sab haath dho lo. So everybody started it, grab as grab can. So they were still grabbing land. Then as they went on, the hunger for land is insatiable, particularly among our political classes and elites. So what happened? Now the changeover took place. Congress took the chief ministership. So after Mufti Saab, Ghulam Nabi Azad became the chief minister. So 2007, they carried out yet another amendment. And what was that amendment? They now said, no, cutoff date is not 2004 also. Cutoff date will now be 2007. So, would you then fault other members of the Kashmiri rich elites, etc., from presuming that abhi 2007 hua hai na, abhi jaake grab karo land, grab as much as you can, because 2010 we'll have it amended again to 2010, 2015 again. So this will then carry on forever. Now, something had to spoil this party, and this party was spoiled then by a CAG report. There was a CAG report in 2011, I think, 2013, that said that for all its promises of collecting 25,000 crores, so far for all the land that Kashmir government had regularized, they had only collected 76 crores. There was no 1,000, no 100, only 76 crores. So obviously this was a scandal. Now this was a scandal, and this public opinion also was building up, and obviously then the BJP also came to power. They were paying this special attention to Kashmir. Initially the government with Mufti, with PDP lasted for some time, and then this wasn't paid that much attention to. But once that had gone, then movement started on this. So the first thing that happened was in 2018, Governor Satyapal Malik, while Kashmir was still a state, he repealed this act. As he repealed this act, he said, "ठीक है, anybody who has already got his land regularized by paying the fee, that is okay. So I am giving you a status quo on that, but no fresh applications can come in now for regularization of land." Now, how much land did that involve? You thought 76 crores where very little land must have been regularized, but that's not true, because this was a scandal from all sides. Like the coronavirus, this side, those things, spikes coming out from all sides. So, in this process, 71,000 acres of land in Jammu region had been regularized, and 4,174 acres of land in Kashmir region had been regularized. That's a lot of land for 76 crores only. In 2011, a Kashmiri lawyer, Sheikh Shakil Ahmed, he went to court with the PIL saying that this is unconstitutional, you cannot have this law. And J&K High Court started hearing it. It so happens that this year on October 9, the High Court, a bench under Chief Justice Geeta Mittal, gave an order saying that the entire law was unconstitutional, and there was no question of those who had already got their lands regularized by paying the fee also being able to retain that land. So everything will be taken back. What the government has now done is they've issued orders that all this land will be taken back. In the course of time, some land has been taken back, and that is now government land. So that's how government has now allocated 2.5 lakh acres of land, or what in Kashmir is called 20 canals, 20 lakh canals. A canal is 500 square yards generally. That land has already been allocated for industrial zones in J&K, in the Union Territory of J&K. Now government has set up a committee to recover all the land in 6 months. Now whether that will happen or not is difficult to say, because once people have got the land, they've started doing stuff with it, they've built houses. It's the Sainik Farm syndrome, or what I call as the Republic of Sainik Farm syndrome. How do you then undo it? So some method will be found. Maybe there will be another method of charging people proper fees, at least in areas where government can let go of the land. But a lot may be restored. So it's good that an injustice is being, and this was an organized, legalized injustice जिसमें सब मिले हुए थे. So you can see Farooq Abdullah made the law. Mufti Muhammad Saeed as Chief Minister amended it for the first time to shift it from 1990 to 2004. And Ghulam Nabi Azad of Congress amended it the second time to shift it to 2007. So how do you understand this? One way of understanding this is the reverse of shifting of goalposts. You say shifting of goalposts is when 10 people are running a race. They reach a certain place or they score a goal. You say, no, goal yahan pe nahi hai, goal aage hai. Or this is not where the race ends. The race ends a mile later. That is shifting the goalposts. But this was the opposite. This was like shifting the starting point of a race. Because earlier you said that you will only get this benefit if you already had this land by 1990. So how do we understand this? See it as the opposite of shifting of goalposts. Shifting of goalposts is once a side goes and scores a goal, you say, no, goal yahan nahi tha, goal aage hai, right? Or when people are running a race, you say, oh, the race doesn't end here, I'm shifting this point, race ends maybe a mile later. This is like shifting the starting point of a race. So initially you said that only those who had the land till 1990 will qualify. So all those people started. Then you said, no, 2004 maybe people can join in and this is a fresh race. This is the starting point. Then you said 2007 and then the rest presumed कि उसके बाद 2010 होगा, फिर 2020 होगा. So this became an open loot and this works in very simple ways. Again, to simplify it, I can give you the example of a famous or infamous slum rehabilitation scheme in Mumbai. I gave you one example from Delhi, Sainik Farms in Delhi, Republic of Sainik Farms in Delhi. The other is the big slum rehabilitation scheme around the airport in Mumbai, because those slums also encroach upon a lot of airport land. In fact, if that land could be cleared, Bombay's existing airport could also become a much bigger airport, and also people living there in those slums could have a much better life. Now, this plan was worked out that all those who were living in those slums by a certain date will now be shifted to new apartments. Those apartments were built. But what happened as word spread that those living in the slums were now entitled to these apartments if they moved there, but only if they were living there by a certain date. What happened? People began moving in. More and more people began moving into those slums, knowing fully well that at some stage they will get their politicians to have the starting point of this race also shifted. So this shifted once, this shifted a second time in Mumbai, this shifted a third time. Finally, the court said no further shifting, but the fact is no politician now has the courage to move on it. In the process, those slums are there. Slum dwellers are living very poor quality lives. Apartments that got constructed have mostly been vacant. People who built them have gone bankrupt, and maybe someone else can go and make one more Slumdog Millionaire type of movie. They are glorifying slum life, because the only people who glorify slum life are people who don't live inside slums or who don't have to live in the slums. So this is, in a different way, is exactly what was being done in Kashmir. So I think it's a welcome thing that somebody has turned off the switch on this so-called Roshni Act scandal of 2 decades. And before I let you go, I know in my comments many of you want to know what is the smoke that keeps coming out. I am doing nothing illegal here. This is nothing but a citronella stick or a lemongrass stick to keep mosquitoes away. Try these, natural and very useful.